Here are two pictures of a house. One is on fire and the other isn't. To most of us, the difference is obvious. But for someone like PS, a stroke patient with brain damage, they both look exactly the same. The stroke had affected the part of her brain responsible for noticing things on her left side, so she was completely unaware of the fire. But here's the strange part. When asked which house she'd prefer to live in, PS consistently chose the house that wasn't burning. Her brain could still process the fire subconsciously, even though she couldn't consciously recognize it. Now imagine this: if you threw a ball at her from the left side, she might duck, but she wouldn't know why. This reveals a fascinating distinction. Our brains are constantly processing information, but we are not always aware of it. That awareness, the ability to experience the world and ourselves, is what we call consciousness. For centuries, scientists, theologians, and philosophers have grappled with the nature of consciousness. Is it the soul? Is it a purely physical phenomenon, or something in between? Let's take a thought experiment. Imagine splitting your brain into two and placing each half into a different body. Would those two beings both be you? Or would one lose its claim to your identity? Questions like these highlight the hidden mystery of consciousness and why is it so difficult to define. Another approach to understanding consciousness is through self-recognition. For decades, scientists have used something called the Rogue test to see whether animals recognize themselves. Human babies start recognizing themselves at about 18 months. Chimpanzees, after seeing their reflection, often begin grooming themselves in front of the mirror. Elephants, dolphins, and even magpies have also shown behaviors that suggest self-recognition. However, the problem with the Rogue test is that this test may only measure body knowledge, the ability to identify physical features rather than true mind knowledge, which pertains to deeper self-awareness. Despite all these experiments, defining and more importantly explaining consciousness remains elusive, but some theories have been significant in explaining it. One of the most intuitive theories is called attention schema theory, or AST. Imagine standing in front of a Ferrari. You see its vibrant red color, feel the smooth curve of the door handle, and notice the faint smell of a new car. It feels like a direct experience, doesn't it? But science tells us otherwise. Here's what's actually happening. Red light reflection of the Ferrari enters your eyes, activates light-sensitive cells in your retina, and generates signals that your brain interprets as red. But here's the catch. There's no red in the light itself. The color red is something your brain constructs. The same goes for the new car smell. Molecules released from the car's interior enter your nose, trigger receptors, and send signal to your brain. That fresh smell, it only exists inside your head. No matter how much detail you choose to observe, your mental representations are always vastly simplified. Even describing the car as red is actually ignoring many similar but distinct frequencies of light, the many shades of red that reflect off different parts of the car's surface. Instead of overwhelming you with complexity, your brain summarizes the scene into something manageable. This simplification helped humans to do what they needed to most: survive. Imagine a tiger approaching two groups of early humans. One group has a brain that analyzes every details, the stripes, its stance, its nails. The other group minimizes unnecessary details, assesses the danger, and runs. Over generations, evolution favored brains that prioritized simplification and rapid decision making. This tendency of your brain to ignore details, when applied to itself, makes it ignore the very physical processes responsible for creating thoughts and sensations. And here's why thoughts seem to come from nowhere. What your brain is actually doing is ignoring the firing neurons, the information processing, and the signal exchanges that actually generate your inner voice and focus, and instead just gives you the output. What in common language we call consciousness. Recent studies may have even pinpointed the areas of our brain directly responsible for consciousness. The claustrum is a thin sheet of nerve cells that sits at the bottom of the cerebral cortex. Because testing the colostrum in a living human brain is invasive and risky, No formal experiments have been done, but one happened accidentally last year when a neurologist trying to understand the source of his patient's epilepsy implanted electrodes near her colostrum. When he switched the current on, she lost consciousness. As soon as he switched it off, she regained it. Despite centuries of inquiry, consciousness remains one of the most profound mysteries. Is it purely a biological phenomenon, or does it touch something deeper? Why does consciousness feel the way it does? Why do we have an inner world at all? Do let me know what you think about this in the comments. I will try and research and bring to you the potential answers to the big questions. So, if you're a curious soul, do subscribe to our channel.